Hey, how's it going? And welcome to another episode of Maintain a Bond. And the goal of this series is to show off different money making methods where if you do them for 1 hour a day for 14 days, you'll have at least enough GP for a bond, and this way you'll be able to self-sustain membership through bonds. In this series, we go by the higher end price of bonds with the assumption of 3.5 mil for a bond, which means every method in this series will be at least 250k GP per hour to meet that threshold for a bond. Also keep in mind that this series is more intended for newer members looking for goals that they can strive for, and not every method can necessarily be done on the first day after getting membership. Now with that being said, today we are going to be hunting red Chinchompas, and all you need that's completely 100% necessary is level 63 hunter and 4 box traps. I would recommend bringing more than 4 box traps though, because if you disconnect or AFK too long and your traps disappear, you don't want to have to worry about running back to a bank, and box traps are super cheap anyways. I've got the Draymond staff in my inventory because fairy rings are one of the best ways to get to the red Chinchompas, and I've got the Artie Cloak as a fast teleport to get to the fairy rings. It really doesn't matter what you wear, but some people find it useful to bring a longbow set on the long range attack style, along with any kind of arrows in order to attack any chins that wander too far away from your traps. Ignore the short bow I have equipped, that should be a longbow, but if you choose to do this, having an Ava's device would be useful as well to pick up some of your arrows if you are concerned about that. It's a common misconception that wearing Larupia or any other hunter outfit will help your cat traits. That is not true, and those outfits are completely cosmetic. So if you plan on using the fairy rings to get there, you need to have started the quest Fairy Tale 2 and gotten to the point where you talk to Fairy Fixit, and the code you're going to be using to get there is AKS. And you're going to run a little bit south until you reach a lake, and then you'll see all the chins running around ready to be caught. If you're not using the fairy rings, then you could either use a Ring of Dueling or use the minigames teleport to Castle Wars, and then run south and then east to get to the area on the map where it says Felled Up Hills. One thing you might want to do beforehand is set NPC attack options to right click only so that you don't accidentally left click on a chin and kill it. And you can do this by clicking on the menu with the wrench and then click on the joystick in the top right corner, and then you'll see the options right there. Now to figure out where to set my traps, what I like to do is I find a world with someone hunting and then take note of where their traps are, then hop worlds and set up the traps on the exact same tiles that they had theirs. Although ideally what the goal is of doing this is that you want to figure out where one of the chins is spawning and then place your traps to surround that spawn point. And you'll see shortly into this hour that I move all my traps over once I figure out where one of those spawn points are. So as a disclaimer, again, this is meant to be a guide for newer members looking to maintain a bond, so I'm not going to be going over 3-tick manipulation with herbs and tar, or talk about trap priority, because this is not a maximum efficiency guide. This is just simply showing the profit and XP that the average player can expect to earn in 1 hour of casually hunting red chins. The account that I'm doing this on has level 75 hunter, so if you have level 63, then your rates of catching the chins will be lower. But the great thing about this method is that the more you do it and the more levels you get, then the more GP and XP per hour you'll get as well. And once you get to level 80 hunter, you're able to set up a 5th trap, which will really boost your rates then. The overlay of the different colors that you see over the traps is not an in-game function. It's a feature built into the free version of OS Buddy, and it can be extremely useful in timing out when to check your traps and when they're about to fall, and it's just an all-around useful tool to have. But as you do this method, you'll figure out certain ways to save time. Like, for example, you can run under a trap before you pick it up and lay it down again in order to save yourself a tiny bit of time. And there's just a bunch of small things like that you'll pick up on once you start hunting chins. Also, there are other spots around Felled Up Hills with chins, and everyone has their own preferred spot, so you can experiment and find an area that you prefer and then stick with that one. And something that you don't need to worry about for a while, but just something to keep in the back of your mind, is that when you complete the Hard Western Provinces diary, then you get access to the red Chinchompa hunting ground, which is the best spot in the game for hunting red chins. So let's get back to about when you should be using your longbow. So if you see the chin from your spawn point start to run away from your traps, then you could shoot it so that it respawns again and you have another chance of it getting caught. Or if any other chins are too far away for your liking, then you could shoot those as well. But we are coming to the end of the hour now, so we're going to pause the timer, and first let's take a look at our XP. So in this 1 hour, we gained 56.2k hunter XP. And the reason why the XP per hour according to the tracker is higher is because it doesn't start keeping track until after you start getting XP, so after the first chin gets caught. And there was maybe a minute or so after we started the timer that no chins got caught, which is why the difference is there. Now for the part that I'm sure you've been looking forward to is the profit. So we caught 213 chins, and keep in mind that the price of red chins does tend to change a lot, but with current prices, we earn 329k GP in this 1 hour. And if your hunter level is just barely at 63, your profits will definitely be lower, but as long as you've got everything set up in a good position and have at least an idea of what you're doing, then you should still reach at least that 250k GP per hour threshold for this series needed to maintain a bond. Whenever I do videos like this, I always give away the GP earned in the video, so I went to a free-to-play world and found a guy grinding, and I explained to him that I'm a new player coming back after 10 years, and I was trying to remember where the air altar is, and I wanted to see if he would lead me to it. Well, it turns out that he's in the same position as I said I was in, and that he just got back into the game after a decade of not playing, and he said this was like his second day playing the game, so he legitimately didn't know either, and I thought these stats were amazing for the amount of time that he said that he's been playing. So instead, I asked him about how he got his armor, and I got him to recommend some money-making methods to me as well, and he really helped out and even recommended using YouTube as a resource as well. If I was actually a noob, then the info that this guy gave would have been really helpful, and he was super chill and easygoing compared to a lot of other people who just couldn't be bothered to give more than one-word answers, so he definitely deserved it, and hopefully he sticks around the game for a while, because the community could always use more people like him. But that is going to wrap it up for today's Maintain a Bond video, and if you're looking for other methods, then check out the full playlist for this series, which I'll link in the description, so that way you can look through all the methods and pick out one that looks interesting to you. And I do hope that you found this video helpful, and good luck with maintaining a bond or with whatever goals you have in the game. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow.